the future slipping away while you're busy remembering the past? You can check out this article on GoRightNews.com. This is Go Right with Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist for Liberty. And thank you for tuning in to this podcast. Remember, we fight for our right because it's time to go right. Is the future slipping away while you're busy remembering the past? This is the Perspective Monologue with Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist for Liberty. To find out more about this full article, you can go to GoRightNews.com, PeterBoykin.com, and you can listen to the music at GoRightMusic.com. There's a reason people keep looking backwards. And it goes deeper than nostalgia or cultural trends. It is instinct. When the ground begins to shift beneath a nation, when uncertainty starts to replace stability, people naturally search for something familiar to hold on to. What many Americans are feeling right now is not just frustration with politics. It is a growing sense that the direction of the country, and even the world, is becoming harder to recognize and harder to trust. Across the country, that feeling shows up in different ways. It appears in everyday conversations, in the tone of headlines, and in the quiet acknowledgement that something feels off. People are not just debating policy anymore. They are questioning direction. They are asking whether the United States is still steering its own course, or reacting to forces that are already in motion, both globally and domestically. When you look at the broader picture, that concern becomes easier to understand. Around the world, instability is increasing. Conflicts that once felt distant now feel closer, more immediate, and more consequential. Strategic decisions are being made at levels most Americans will never directly see. Yet those decisions carry real implications for national security, economic stability, and the future of American leadership on the global stage. This is not abstract. It is real. And people can feel it. At the same time, the United States is facing internal challenges that go to the core of its identity as a constitutional republic. The debate is no longer limited to differences in policy or political preference. It is centered on the scope of power itself. Questions about executive authority, legal interpretation, and institutional limits are becoming more frequent and more intense. These are not minor disagreements. They are tests of how firmly the system holds when it is placed under pressure. History provides a clear warning about moments like this. Power does not usually present itself as permanent when it expands. It arrives under the justification of necessity. It is framed as temporary, as a response to urgent circumstances, as a means of protection. Over time, however, those temporary measures can become normalized. They protect individual liberty even during times of uncertainty with a sense of longing. They remember a time that felt more stable, less divided. However, is that the past cannot be restored. Conditions have changed. The pace of information, the scale of global interaction, and the intensity of political and cultural division have all accelerated. The question is not whether the country can return to what it once was. The question is whether it can move forward while preserving the principles that defined it. That brings us to the moment we are at now. Nations are not defined during times of comfort. They are defined during times of pressure. When decisions carry weight and consequences extend beyond the immediate, this is one of those moments. The convergence of global instability, internal debate over power, and a widespread uncertainty about the future creates a test of both leadership and public awareness. The central question is not whether previous years felt better. The central question is whether the nation is prepared to meet the challenges ahead without compromising the foundations that sustain it. Are Americans willing to remain engaged, to recognize when constitutional limits are tested, and to defend them when necessary? Are they prepared to confront uncertainty directly rather than retreat into nostalgia? The future is not something that arrives gradually without notice. It is shaped by the decisions made in moments like this. It is shaped by what is defended, what is allowed, and what is ignored. If those decisions are made without awareness, or without complement to principle, or commitment to principle, the consequences will not be temporary. A constitutional republic depends on more than structure. It depends on participation, vigilance, and a clear understanding of what it is at stake. If those elements weaken, the system itself becomes vulnerable, not through sudden collapse, but through gradual erosion. The past may feel comforting, but it does not determine what comes next. The future will be shaped by what is recognized and defended today. The question is whether the country is prepared to meet that responsibility with clarity, strength, and a firm commitment to liberty. This is Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist for Liberty. For more, go to GoRightNews.com, PeterBoykin.com, and the music we're about to play, you can go to GoRightMusic.com for more information. God bless.
Something feels different right now, and you know it. The world feels louder, the stakes feel higher, and everything is moving faster than you can process. Scroll your phone, war, power, control. Every headline screaming for your attention, but none of them asking the real question. Why does everything feel like it's accelerating while people are looking backward? Because when the ground starts shifting, people reach for something stable. And right now, America feels that shift. This isn't just politics anymore. It's direction. It's pressure building, both outside the country and inside the system itself. Global tension rising, decisions being made at levels you don't see, but you will feel. And here at home, we're not just debating policy, we're redefining power, stretching it, testing it, expanding it. And power doesn't announce itself as permanent. It shows up as necessary. It shows up as temporary. It shows up as protection. Until one day, you realize the line has moved. That's why the Constitution matters, not as a symbol, as a limit, a line that says this far and no further. Because freedom doesn't disappear all at once, it erodes, quietly, gradually, conveniently. And while all of this is happening, people are looking back to a time that felt stable, to a time that felt predictable, to a time that made sense. But the past isn't coming back. And the future isn't waiting for you to catch up. So the question isn't, was it better before? The question is, are you ready now? Ready for a world that's less stable? Ready for a system under pressure? Ready to recognize when lines are crossed? Because what happens next depends on what people are willing to see and what they're willing to defend. This is Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist for Liberty. GoWriteNews.com. PeterBoykin.com. GoWriteMusic.com. Something shifting in the air tonight. Feels like we're running out of time. Voices echo from another life, telling us it'll be alright. But it don't feel the same. Headlines screaming from a glowing screen. Truth gets buried in between. Every answer's dressed in certainty, but nothing's ever what it seems. We keep scrolling past the signs while the lines get redefined. What we thought would never change slips away right out of frame. You can feel it getting closer now, like a storm you can't outrun. Everyone's just looking back, like the damage has been done. While you're looking back, the future's moving fast. You can't hold the line if you're living in the past. Every step we take, every choice we make is a piece of something we might never get back. While you're looking back, power rising dressed as sympathy, wrapped in words of what we need. Little changes turn to history before you even see the bleed. We were told it's temporary, just a phase we'd outgrow. But the lines we used to stand on are the ones we barely know. You can hear it in the silence now, something breaking underneath. Every promise that we trusted It don't disappear overnight. It fades away without a fight. Bit by bit it slips through hands while we're trying to understand. Was it fear? Was it trust? Was it something built in us that made us wait too into the light, no disguise, no apology. Who are you waiting for? Another savior? Always looking, but you'll never find, never find who you're trying to be in the mirror, chasing shadows you don't recognize. Tied down, running through the noise. You're going downtown, you know where you're going. Throw your top down like you know where you're going. Running all the red lights, every red light. You ignore the signs. Every move getting a little bit clearer. You've been hiding in a cheap disguise. Truth's been waiting at the finish line. You can run, but it won't last. Soon you're gonna face yourself. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are tonight? Who do you think you are? Say it loud, step into the light. Don't hide behind the dark. Who do you think you are? I'm telling the truth now. We're all born naked, and the rest is drag. Our sexy muscle car under the radar, engine screaming, but you're going nowhere. Always looking, but you'll never see, never think you chose this. You think this is your world. But what if it was chosen for you first? Scroll, tap, react. Scroll, tap, react. Feed the system, 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 You open your phone, now you're locked in the stream. Thinking it's truth, but it's shaping your scene. Code in the background, deciding the view. Not what is real, but what keeps you glued. What rises up, what fades away. What you believe by the end of the day. You didn't choose what you're starting to see. The system chose what you think you believe. It learns your mind, it tracks your time, it feeds you more of your own side. Are you thinking or just being managed? Truth gets buried while the system's advantage. It goes around you, nothing gets challenged. Filtered freedom, everything's been packaged. Are you seeing or just being shown? Living inside of a world that's your own. Feels like control, but it's not what you own. Filtered freedom, now you're never alone. No need to block you, no need to fight. Just keep you comfortable, keep you right, keep you surrounded, keep you contained inside a loop that rewires your brain. Different opinions you barely will see. Your feed is a mirror of what you believe. Certainty rising, knowledge gets thin. You're stuck in a cycle you didn't step in. Are you learning? Or just agreeing? Are you growing? Or just repeating? Are you learning? A republic needs friction. Are you growing? Debate, contradiction. Are you growing? But what happens when everything fits? Are you growing? When nothing resists? You don't get smarter, you just get short. You don't get stronger, you just feel secure. You don't see truth, you just see your lane. Fed by a system that profits your brain. Two sides living in different feeds, different realities planted like seeds. Same damn country, same damn place, different truths in the same damn space. Are you thinking or just being managed? Truth gets buried while the system's advantage. It goes around you, nothing gets challenged. Filtered freedom, everything's been packaged. Are you seeing or just being shown? Living inside of a world that you own. Feels like control, but it's not what you own. Filtered freedom, now you're never alone. The Constitution still stands, but what you see decides what you believe, and what you believe decides everything. So tell me, are you thinking or just being managed?
If you're working harder, feeling worse, and thinking less, who's actually winning? Thanks for tuning in to Go Right with Peter Boykin. I'm Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist for Liberty, and this is my perspective. It's time to go right. Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right. There's a moment where you have to stop and look at the pattern, not just the pieces. People across this country are working harder than they have in years. Longer hours, more pressure, more responsibility, all in the pursuit of something that used to feel achievable. Stability, progress, a better life built step by step through effort and discipline. But for many, that equation no longer feels reliable. The effort is there. The discipline is there. The time is being put in. Yet the results feel delayed, diminished, are completely out of reach. And that disconnect creates something deeper than frustration. It creates doubt. At the same time, something else is rising. Certainty. That's certainty, folks. People are more confident than ever in what they believe. Conversations are sharper. Positions are more rigid. Opinions are defended with intensity. But those two trends should not be happening together. Because true understanding produces awareness, not unchecked certainty. It creates the ability to question, to adapt, and to recognize that there is always more beneath the surface. So why are people feeling more certain while their real-world stability feels less secure? Because certainty has become easier to access than understanding. In a world where information is constantly delivered, tailored, and reinforced, it is easier to be told what feels right than it is to wrestle with what might be true. When your environment reflects your beliefs back at you and to you, you are not being sharpened. You are being affirmed. An affirmation feels like clarity, but it quietly removes the challenge. And without challenge, there is no growth. Without friction, there is no depth. And without exposure to opposing ideas, there is no refinement. What replaces it is repetition. And repetition builds certainty without requiring understanding. Now place that into the reality people are living. They are tired. They are stretched thin. They are focused on keeping up with rising costs and increasing pressure. And when people are in that state, they do not seek complexity. They seek clarity, even if that clarity is incomplete. It is where the shift happens. Not through force, but through comfort. If your environment provides answers that feel right over and over and over again, you are less likely to step outside of it. And if your life feels harder at the same time, you have even less energy to question what you're being shown. So what do you end up with? A population that is harder working hard, feeling more pressure, and becoming more certain without becoming more informed. And that is not strength. That is vulnerability. Because a constitutional republic depends on citizens who can think independently and challenge themselves. The Constitution does not just protect your right to speak, it assumes your ability to reason. And if that begins to fade, the structure still stands, but the foundation weakens. And that is the real concern. Because influence becomes easier when people are exhausted. Guidance becomes easier when people are certain. And division becomes easier when people are no longer seeing the same reality. So the question is not just economic or informational, it is foundational. Are you growing or are you being reinforced? Are you being challenged or are you being comforted? Are you thinking or are you simply reacting? Because if you're constantly busy, constantly certain, and constantly responding instead of reflecting, then you're not stepping back far enough to see what is actually changing. And in this constitutional republic, seeing clearly is not optional. It is essential. Folks, I asked you to stay informed, stay aware, and stay go right. Because Americans are working harder, but falling behind while becoming more certain but less informed. A deeper shift may be shaping how lives of people think, and people think, and they respond, and they live their lives. Folks, if you want to find out more, you can go to gorightnews.com, peterboykin.com. Check us out on social media, on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, X. Everywhere that you can find me, I'm going to be there. Remember to go right, and God bless.
Welcome back. There's a moment. It doesn't come with breaking news. It comes when everything gets quiet and you realize you've been working harder than ever, and somehow you're still falling behind. Nights, chasing numbers, chasing lights, doing what you've always been told. Work hard, watch it unfold, but the bills stack up, the margins thin. You push ahead, don't know where you've been. You used to feel like you could get ahead, now it's survival instead. And while that's happening in your life, something else is happening in your mind. Everybody talking, nobody hears. Opinions louder year by year. Certainty rising, lines drawn tight. Everybody sure they're right, but when you dig just a little deep, there ain't much there beneath. Same ideas on repeat, different voices, same belief. Working more, feeling behind. Truth gets buried in the noise we find. Certain strong but shallow ground. Nobody lost but nobody found. If effort climbs but results don't show, and what you see is all you know. Tell me now, honestly, is that freedom or just routine? See, this didn't happen overnight. The more you engage, the more you're shown, until everything you see agrees with you. That feels like truth, but it's not. It's reinforcement. Question why, no reason left to even try. Truth don't grow where it ain't tested. Understanding stays arrested. Round and round the same old view. Feels complete but it ain't true. Working more, feeling worse. Living life in a backward verse. Thinking less, believing strong. Tell me where we went so wrong. If the grind don't build your way, and the noise won't fade away, then who's really shaping what you see? You, or something quietly. We live in a constitutional republic. It requires more than participation. It requires thinking. If you're only shown what you already believe, you're not being informed, you're being guided. If you're working harder, feeling worse, and thinking less, then something is broken. And the question is, who benefits from you never noticing? Slow it down, take a breath, find the truth beneath the stress. Think it through, don't just feel. That's how you know what's real. Go right with Peter Boykin. GoRightNews.com. PeterBoykin.com. Yeah, turn it up. Turn it up. Yeah! Turn it up. Another damn day just breaking my soul. Same road, same grind, same worn out fight. Work all day just to bleed at night. Hands stay dirty, pockets stay thin. Give it all, still don't win. They said hustle, they said grind. All I got is worn out mind. Push it harder, give it more. Still standing in the same damn door. I'm working more, but I still ain't ahead. Still got fire, but I'm barely fed. Climbing high, but I'm stuck in place. Nobody hears, same damn noise year after year. Everybody swear they got it right, but nobody sees past their own fight. Truth gets twisted, sold for gold. Same old story, just louder told. Feed me noise till I can't think straight. Then tell me I chose my fate. Round and round till the wheels fall off. Truth gets buried under all that talk. I'm working more, but I still ain't ahead. Still got dreams hanging by a thread. Pushing hard, but the ground won't hold. Every step just turns to cold. Still ain't ahead. Hey, still ain't ahead. Try to climb, slide back down. Still ain't ahead. Still ain't ahead. Hey, scream it loud, hear that sound. Still ain't ahead. You ever feel like you're running full speed and going nowhere? Yeah! Still ain't ahead. Stop. Still ain't ahead. Hey! Work all day. Still ain't ahead. But I still ain't ahead. Still got fire burning in my chest. Trying to rise, but I'm held in place. Still swinging in the same damn race. Still ain't
mold in the air. You looked away like you didn't care. Warnings came in, but you shut the door while our children sat on that dirty floor. Teachers were coughing, parents cried out. Still no response, just silence and doubt. Funds were there, but you played your game. Now you're pointing fingers, dodging the blame. You had one job, keep our children safe. Instead you gave us mold, lies, and disgrace. This ain't politics, it's right versus wrong. We're standing up now, and we're coming on strong. You broke the trust, but we've had enough. We want truth, not your cover-up. $30 million spent, no bids, no plan. You signed off quick with a shaking hand. I'd do it again, that's what you said. While families worry what's inside their kids' head. Air too thick to breathe, roofs that pour, money missing and contracts galore. We read the emails, we saw the signs. The real crime here is how you lied. You had one job, protect our schools, but you cashed in and broke the rules. This ain't about red, this ain't about blue. It's about what you failed to do. No more spin, no more fear. We're the voice you're gonna hear. From Alamance to every town, it's time to tear this failure down. We want audits, we want light, we want clean schools and leaders who fight. This is our stand, this is the line. You've wasted dollars and wasted time, but the parents rise, the people speak. Accountability is what we seek. You had one job and you let it burn, but now it's the people's turn. No more silence, no more delay. We're taking our schools back today. You failed the kids, now face the cost. The trust you broke is what you lost. This is for the classrooms, this is for the truth, this is for every voice you refuse to listen to. Just afraid. Echoes call, but they don't reply. Falling fast, but I can't say why. You reach out, but it's just too late. Tell me now, do you feel the same? can spin, but they won't rewind. Chasing shadows, losing time. Oh, I see your face in the neon glow, but it's not real. I should let it go. Echoes call, but they don't reply. Falling fast, but I can't say why. Why? You reach out, but it's just too late. Tell me now, do you feel the same? Oh, it's not like it was before. We don't talk the way we did no more. In a moment, it all slips away. Tell me, are we lost or just afraid? I keep running, but the streets don't change. Same old patterns, different names. Maybe love's just a passing phase or a lesson we had to break. Oh, it's not like it was before. We don't talk the way we did no more. In a moment, it all slips away. Tell me, are we lost or just afraid? Fading lights, empty streets, running circles in my dreams. You said, hold on, just wait for me. But I know how this story reads.
If your feed only shows you what you already believe, are you thinking or just being managed? This is the Go Right with Peter Boykin, your Constitutionalist For Liberty perspective. Thanks for tuning in to Go Right News with me, Peter Boykin.
Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right.
This is where the conversation has to get honest. A constitutional republic does not survive on comfort. It survives on informed citizens who are capable of thinking critically, challenging assumptions, and engaging with ideas they may not immediately agree with. That process is not easy, and it is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. What we're seeing now is a shift away from that model. Instead of being challenged, people are increasingly being surrounded by content that reinforces what they already believe. It feels empowering, but it can quietly limit growth. When individuals are consistently fed information that aligns with their views, they begin to lose the ability to test those views against opposing arguments. They become more confident, but not necessarily more informed. And that distinction matters. Because confidence without understanding can be easily influenced. If a system can predict what keeps you engaged and then deliver it repeatedly, it does not need to force you into a belief. It only needs to guide you toward it over time. That is not coercion, it's conditioning. The danger is not that people are being silenced. The danger is that people may not realize how much of what they see has been selected for them. A free society depends on more than the right to speak. It depends on the ability to encounter a full range of ideas and make independent judgments. If that range is narrowed, the foundation of that independence begins to weaken. So the question is not whether the Constitution still exists, because it does. The question is whether people are operating within an environment that allows them to fully exercise the freedom it guarantees. Because if your understanding of reality is shaped before you even begin to think, then the most important freedom is not just speech, it is clarity. And clarity only comes when you're willing to step outside of what feels comfortable and confront what forces you to think.
Listen closely. You open your phone. You scroll. You react. You think you're catching up with the world. But what if the world reaching you was chosen first? We still call it freedom. We still call it news. We still say this is a constitutional republic where ideas compete and truth rises on its own. But something changed. Not in the Constitution, not in the law, in the distance between information and you. Because now, you don't just search for the story. The story is delivered, ranked, filtered, tailored, fed to you, piece by piece. Algorithms decide what rises, what spreads, what fades, not by what matters most, not by what is most true, but by what keeps you engaged, what keeps you clicking, what keeps you emotionally locked in. And the more you engage, the more the system learns you, what you like, what you hate, what confirms you, what comforts you, and then it gives you more again and again, until your feed feels less like a window and more like a mirror. So ask yourself, are you learning, or are you being coddled? Are you growing, or just being surrounded by everything you already believe? Because when all you hear is agreement, it feels like truth. When challenge disappears, it feels like clarity, but that's the trap. You are not seeing the whole debate. You are seeing the version most likely to hold your attention, and attention is power. A real republic needs friction, debate, pushback, the test of ideas. It needs citizens who can hear something difficult and think harder instead of shutting down. But what happens when every platform learns to keep you comfortable? You don't get wiser. You get more certain, and certainty without challenge is not knowledge. It is conditioning, a soft cage, a digital echo, a managed reality that feels like freedom. Because no one had to force you into it. The system does not need to silence you. It only needs to make sure you rarely encounter what disrupts you. It does not need to control every thought. It only needs to guide your patterns quietly, repeatedly, efficiently, until your worldview feels self-made, even when it has been shaped all along. The Constitution still stands, rights still matter, speech is still protected, but freedom is more than speaking. Freedom requires clarity, freedom requires exposure, freedom requires enough truth to make your own judgment without being boxed in by design. So this is bigger than left and right, bigger than one platform, bigger than one trend. This is about whether a people can stay free when reality itself is being customized. Because if citizens stop being challenged and start being catered to, then the republic remains on paper, while the mindset required to sustain it starts to fade. So ask it one last time. Are you thinking for yourself? Or are you being managed so smoothly you mistake comfort for truth? Because the system does not need to control you if it can surround you. And that may be the most dangerous filter of all. For more, follow Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist For Liberty, on GoRightNews.com and PeterBoykin.com. to go right. You think you chose this? You think this is your world? But what if it was chosen for you first?
Scroll, tap, react. Scroll, tap, react. Feed the system, 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 feed the You open your phone, now you're locked in the stream. Thinking it's truth, but it's shaping your scene. Code in the background, deciding the view. Not what is real, but what keeps you glued. What rises up, what fades away. What you believe by the end of the day. You didn't choose what you're starting to see. The system chose what you think you believe. It learns your mind, it tracks your time. It feeds you more of your own side. Are you thinking of just being managed? Truth gets buried while the system's advantage. It goes around you, nothing gets challenged. Filtered freedom, everything's been packaged. Are you seeing or just being shown? Living inside of a world that's your own. Feels like control, but it's not what you own. Filtered freedom, now you're never alone. No need to block you, no need to fight. Just keep you comfortable, keep you right, keep you surrounded, keep you contained inside a loop that rewires your brain. Different opinions you barely will see. Your feed is a mirror of what you believe. Certainty rising, knowledge gets thin. You're stuck in a cycle you didn't step in. Are you learning? Or just agreeing? Are you growing? Or just repeating? Are you learning? A republic needs friction. Are you growing? Debate, contradiction. Are you growing? But what happens when everything fits? Are you growing? When nothing resists? You don't get smarter, you just get short. You don't get stronger, you just feel secure. You don't see truth, you just see your lane. Fed by a system that profits your brain. Two sides living in different feeds, different realities planted like seeds. Same damn country, same damn place, different truths in the same damn space. Are you thinking or just being managed? Truth gets buried while the system's advantage. It goes around you, nothing gets challenged. Filtered freedom, everything's been packaged. Are you seeing or just being shown? Living inside of a world that you own. Feels like control, but it's not what you own. Filtered freedom, now you're never alone. The Constitution still stands, but what you see decides what you believe, and what you believe decides everything. So tell me, are you thinking or just being managed? This is Go Right. Go right, 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 go right. With Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist For Liberty. We don't follow narratives, we challenge them. We don't bend to pressure, we stand on principle. truth still matters, say it loud. We the people hear the sound, go right, we don't back down.
Go right. News.com. News.com. With Peter Boykin, the Constitutionalist for Liberty. We don't follow narratives. We challenge them. We don't bend to pressure. We stand on principle. Go right, news.com.
Can I get an amen? Amen. Can I get a witness? Testify. God, we need to go right now. This world may spin and shake, but we won't yield. We carry light and truth, that's our shield. They try to split our hearts with every lie, but freedom's flame keeps burning high. God, we need to go right now. Lift our voices, don't you bow. Marching forward, faith avowed. God, we need to go right now.
They say comply, but we resist. Your truth, oh Lord, still does exist. The children cry, yet hope remains. Let liberty ignite the flame.
Rise up,
Elevate,
we won't suffocate.
break the chain,
Don't hesitate.
march together.
Hear the sound.
God is with us.
The time is now. God, we need to
Right now, in the storm, we'll stand somehow. Faith is strong, we won't back down. God, we need to go right now. Take it higher. Take it higher.
voices rise through smoke and doubt. We spoke up, they can't drown us out. They try to shut us down, but freedom don't fade or bow. We stood tall when the storm came round. The truth's our vow. We're breaking ground, so take a bow. This is our stage. We fought the lies, we broke the cage. Through every threat, through every rage, we lit the fire that won't decay. Yeah, we go right, we stole the show. They said sit down, but we said no. The world may spin, the winds may blow, but truth don't fall, it only grows. We go right, our voices soar, for faith, for flag, for freedom's core. No matter what they're fighting for, we go right forevermore. No stage, no puppet lines, just hearts awake and open minds. From small towns to city lights, we speak the words that spark the fight. They call us fools, they call us bold, but liberty's not bought or sold. We rise again through stories told of patriots young and voices old. If the curtain falls, let them know we fought with love, not with show. We didn't seek fame or gold, we sought the truth, that's all we hold. We go right, and they all know the flame we built will always glow. We speak for those who can't say so, for faith, for flag, for freedom, so we go right, we stole the show. Strong, the people know we go right and never low, and never low.
I remember watching people cheer, not in celebration of freedom, but in celebration of control. Stay home, close your business, don't go to church, don't question it. And if you did question it, you weren't just wrong, you were dangerous. That's where this story begins.
We were told it was temporary, just 2 weeks, just to flatten the curve. But weeks turned into months, and months turned into a mindset. Governors didn't debate, they declared. Rules didn't pass through legislatures, they came down like orders. Small businesses shut down overnight. Families told who they could visit. Churches labeled non-essential. So let me ask you this: when does an emergency stop being an emergency and start becoming authority? Obey first, question never. You couldn't just live your life, you had to prove compliance. Keep your job, take a shot. Wanna travel, show your papers. Wanna speak, be careful, because speech became the threat. Post disappeared, accounts silenced, voices buried, all under one word: misinformation.
Then people started noticing. Not all protests were treated the same. Cities burned, businesses destroyed, streets taken over. And the response, mixed, excused, sometimes supported. But then came January 6th, and everything changed. Full force, full outrage, full prosecution. Violence should be condemned across the board. So why does accountability feel absolute in one direction and flexible in another? this was happening, something else was growing. Quietly. Agencies. Not elected, not chosen. Agencies. Rules about work, rules about housing, rules about health, decisions for millions, made by people nobody voted for. And only when challenged did some of it stop. So ask yourself, would it have stopped if no one pushed back? They shout no king, but power keeps growing. Let's stop pretending this is just about slogans. No kings. Sounds powerful, sounds patriotic, but words are cheap. Because what we've seen is power expanding, authority normalized, rules applied selectively. That's not a republic mindset. That's control. You don't need a king when a system can control speech, movement, work, and information. You don't need a crown when power flows through executive orders, unelected agencies, and pressure behind closed doors. You don't need a throne when rules change overnight and people are expected to comply. This isn't about left or right. This is about one question. Do we still recognize when power crosses the line? Because when businesses were shut down, that was control. When speech was silenced, that was influence. When justice was applied differently, that was selective enforcement. And history warns us, power doesn't arrive loudly. It grows quietly, and it stays because people get used to it. So the real question isn't, do we have kings? The real question is, are we building a system that no longer needs one? Because in a constitution or republic, power must be limited, temporary, accountable, not flexible, not selective, not permanent. You cannot chant no kings while defending concentrated power. You cannot claim liberty while accepting control. And you cannot preserve a republic if you stop questioning authority. That's the line. And once it's crossed, it's not easy to go back. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay GoRightNews.com, PeterBoykin.com.
Lights fade and the crowd's still loud. Flags wave where the truth's allowed. Voices rise through smoke and doubt. We spoke up, they can't drown us out. They tried to shut us down, but freedom don't fade or bow. We stood tall when the storm came round. The truth's our vow, we're breaking ground. So take a bow, this is our stage. We fought the lies, we broke the cage. Through every threat, through every rage, we lit the fire that won't decay. The show. They said sit down, but we said no. The world may spin, the winds may blow, but truth don't fall, it only grows. We go right, our voices soar for small towns to city lights. We speak the words that spark the fight. They call us fools, they call us bold, but liberty's not bought or sold. We rise again through stories told of patriots young and voices old. If the curtain falls, let them know we fought with love, not with show. We didn't seek fame or gold, we sought the truth, that's all we hold. We go right and they all know the flame we built will always glow. We speak for those who can't say so, for faith, for flag, for freedom. So we go right, we stole the show. Our hearts are loud, our courage shows. Together strong, the people know. We go right and never low. I look in the mirror, see the light inside. No more hiding in fear. Time to take the ride. Every step I take, every move I make, I'm breaking free tonight. Gonna reach new heights. I was born to shine, bright like the stars align. Every moment's mine, I'm not gonna hide. Voices in my head tried to keep me down, but now I rise up, turn it all around. Feel the rhythm now, let your spirit soar. Dance under the clouds, open up the door. I was born to shine, bright like the stars align. Every moment's mine, I'm not gonna hide.
Somewhere in America right now, an employee is sitting through a workplace harassment training session. They're being told the rules. Respect your coworkers. Do not abuse your position. Do not create a hostile work environment. And if you break those rules, there will be consequences. And for most Americans, that is just part of life. If you do something at work, there is a process. There is exposure. There is accountability. There is the risk that your name, your actions, and your reputation could all be dragged into the light. But in Washington, the rules seem to work a little differently. Because when the people in power get accused, the process gets quieter. The doors close. The records disappear behind procedure. The excuses start flying, and the public is told not to look too closely. Now here is where it gets interesting. The political class that keeps screaming for transparency when it comes to everybody else suddenly becomes very protective of secrecy when the spotlight points back towards Congress. And when Republicans and Democrats, who can barely agree on what day it is, come together in a giant bipartisan vote to keep something buried, that ought to make every American stop and ask what exactly they do not want us to see. Because this is not a close call. This was not a close call. This was not one party acting alone. This was Washington protecting Washington. And in case you missed it, that should concern every single one of us. So did Congress just vote to hide its own sexual misconduct files while demanding transparency from everyone else? Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right.
Somewhere in America right now, someone is sitting through the training. Rules on the wall, warnings in the air. Respect your coworkers. Do not abuse your power. Do not create a hostile place. And if you cross that line, there will be consequences. That is how it works for everyday people. There is a process. There is exposure. There is accountability. There is risk. Your name can be dragged into the lake. But in Washington, the rules get quieter. The doors close. The records disappear. The excuses start flying and the public is told, do not look too closely. When both sides come together to keep something buried, every American should ask, what are they hiding? Did Congress just vote to hide its own misconduct files while demanding transparency from everybody else? Go right with Peter Boykin! Constitutionalist for Liberty! Breaking through the noise! Calling out hypocrisy! GoRightNews.com! Go right with Peter Boykin! GoRightNews.com! Truth matters. Transparency matters. In a constitutional republic, the people still have the right to know.
Did Congress just vote to hide its own sexual misconduct files while demanding transparency from everyone else? Welcome back to Go Right with myself, Peter Boykin, your Constitutionalist for Liberty. This is part of GoRightNews.com, where we step away from the political theater, we cut through the noise, and we look at what is really happening inside our constitutional republic. You know, because sometimes the biggest story in Washington is not the one they spend all day yelling about on television. Sometimes it's the one they quietly move off the stage while nobody is paying attention. And that is exactly what happened here. I know people are getting distracted with the Iran war and everything else, but in case you missed it, the U.S. House had a chance to force more transparency about sexual misconduct and harassment records involving members of our dear Congress. Instead, that House voted 357 to 65 to send Representative Nancy Mace's efforts to the House Ethics Committee, which is widely understood as a procedural graveyard for measures leadership does not want moving forward. Now that number matters. 357. It's not even a squeaker. Not a close call. Not just Democrats. Not just Republicans. Both sides helped bury it. And when you see that many members of Congress suddenly unite to keep something from public view, you have every right as an American citizen to stop and wonder what exactly they were so desperate to hide. Now let's break down what happened. Nancy Mace introduced a resolution aimed at preserving and releasing records tied to sexual harassment and misconduct investigations involving members of Congress and congressional staff. Her office said the measure would force public disclosure of those records. This could have been a real transparency moment. If Congress truly believed that powerful people should not be shielded from scrutiny, this was the time to prove it. Instead, lawmakers voted to send it away. That means the public does not get to see what was in those files. The institution keeps control. And Congress gets to tell itself that it handled the matter through the proper channels, while the American people are left staring at just another locked door. Now, the defenders of this move say releasing internal investigative files could discourage victims and witnesses from cooperating in future cases. But that was the argument pushed by the ethics committee side. But let's get clear, folks. Protecting real victims matter. It should matter. But Americans have heard this song before. Sometimes, quote, protecting the process becomes code for protecting the institution. Sometimes privacy becomes the shield used to keep powerful people insulated from consequences. And sometimes sensitivity becomes the excuse for making sure the public never learns how misconduct was handled behind closed doors. And that is where trust starts to die. Because this did not just happen in a vacuum. Congress. It happened in Congress. Congress has a history here. For years, there's been a public anger over how workplace misconduct complaints were handled under the Congressional Accountability Act system. Before reform, some settlements tied to congressional workplace claims could be paid through public funds rather than directly by lawmakers themselves. We're paying for their misconduct. Congress later changed parts of that system, but the history of secretive handling and taxpayer exposure never truly went away. That older history is exactly why people hear about this vote and think, here we go again. The same building, the same insiders, the same protective shell, the same political class telling the rest of America to live under rules they do not seem eager to apply to themselves. And here's the part that makes this even more explosive. This all unfolded while politicians on both sides have been loudly demanding transparency about the Epstein files. Oh, what about the Congress files? That is what makes the hypocrisy so hard to ignore. When the pressure is on to expose powerful people outside of Congress, suddenly everybody wants sunlight. Everybody wants answers. Everybody wants documents released. Everybody wants the public to know the truth. But when the issue turns inward, when the records involve Congress itself, transparency suddenly becomes dangerous, complicated, and inconvenient. And that is why Nancy Mace responded the way she did after the vote, pointing out that some of the same voices demanding the release of the Epstein-related records had just voted to bury the sexual harassment files of members of Congress. Newsweek even reported that direct criticism after the House vote. And that is the whole rotten pattern in one sentence. Release the files when it damages outsiders. Hide the files when it damages insiders. Demand sunlight when it helps your narrative. Pull the blind shut when the light hits your own institution. And again, look at that number. 357 to 65. That's not just a few bad apples. That is not a misunderstanding. That is a giant bipartisan shield wall. That is the political class circling the wagons around itself. Now, why does this matter beyond Washington? Now, some people will hear this and say, well, this is just Washington being Washington. Or, people nowadays go, well, that's just politics. No. It's bigger than that. Because the culture of accountability inside the federal government does not stay in Washington. This isn't Las Vegas, folks. It spreads. If Congress can hide behind procedure, every other layer of government learns the lesson. If Congress decides the public should not get to see how misconduct allegations were handled against elected officials, what message does that send to state governments? Say like North Carolina. What message does that not send to county commissions, lower and lower levels, to school boards, to city councils, to agencies, to every taxpayer-funded body that would love nothing more but to handle its own embarrassment, quietly move on? This is just how bad habits become institutional culture. This is how secrecy becomes normalized. And this is how public trust gets gutted one closed file at a time. And in a constitutional republic, public office is not supposed to be private privilege. It's supposed to be public trust. And that trust only survives when the people can actually see how their government behaves. Not just when government wants to perform accountability, but when accountability becomes uncomfortable. Because let's be honest, the real issue here is not just one vote. It is the mindset behind the vote. It is the arrogance. It is the assumption that the American people are smart enough to pay for the government, obey the government, and vote for the government, but not important enough to know how that government handled misconduct inside its own very walls. That is the insult. That is the double standard. That is the swamp instinct. And when Republicans and Democrats who spend half their lives pretending the other side is an existential threat to the Republic suddenly lock arms, kumbaya, whatever else, to keep the public from seeing records tied to congressional misconduct that ought to be every one of us wonder what exactly what's in those files, what's living in those files, what patterns might be hiding there. What steady parties are they attending? What settlements might raise questions? And what names they would rather never see dragged into public daylight? Because if it was harmless, they wouldn't have buried it like this. If it was nothing, they would not need 357 votes to wall it off from the American people. So in case you missed it, folks, that is the story. Congress had a chance to prove transparency was a principle. Instead, Congress proved transparency is too often just a weapon, used when convenient, ignored when personal, and buried when it threatens the club. And that should make every American furious. Folks, this has been Peter Boykin. I'm your Constitutionalist Liberty, and this is Go Right with me, Peter Boykin. You can check us out and more on GoRightNews.com and PeterBoykin.com. You can find us on Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Gab, Truth Social, TikTok, Facebook, and X, and some other places too. I don't know. Support independent constitutional journalism and commentary that is not afraid to call out the hypocrisy, no matter what side's doing it. And if you want to support what we're building, you can donate it to Cash App, $ Go Right News. I know most of you probably won't. Gases cost too much. Bills cost too much. But if you want to help out, it's great. Because the truth matters, folks. Transparency matters. And the Constitutional Republic, the people still have the right to ask what their government is hiding. And that's all I gotta say. Go right, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah. Go Right News in the building. Constitution in one hand, freedom in the other. Yeah, yeah. New protest, new day. What does the left say? Yeah. They screaming on the timeline louder than a megaphone. When it come to hashtag fly, fresh shower rate lighting up the sky. One day flag, next day statues, next day something else. Yesterday it's oil and gas, today statues from the past. Bill of rights on the table like a playbook. Found and wrote it down so the tyrants couldn't shake us. Sides go up, megaphone scream. Half the crowd forgot the thing someone asked what we're marching for. Nobody's really sure anymore. Cable news drama spinning like a carnival ride, but truth don't bend just because somebody cried. You can yell at the sky, but facts don't fold. If liberty matters, then you better let them know. One day this, next day that. Change the slogan, change the hat. Different cause, same display. Everybody shout hooray! They got hashtag. We got history. We got outrage. Oh, we got liberty. Let them know, let them know. We still standing for the rights they trying to overthrow. Let them know, let them know. Constitution in the pocket everywhere we go. Say it loud, say it proud. Truth cutting through the noise in the crowd. Talking heads arguing louder every night on TV, but the founders wrote the rules so the people stayed free. Checks and balances moving like a chessboard. Every branch watching power so it never gets greedy. Monday rally stop the wall. Tuesday tear the wall down, y'all. Wednesday chant defend the state. Thursday scream eliminate. Friday slogan something new. Nobody remember number 2. Saturday we block the street. Sunday we protest the tweet. History messy but the blueprint still stands. It gon' hold paper stronger than the tyrant's demand. You can silence voices or the truth still grows. So grab the mic and tell the world, let them know. Megaphones and cardboard art. Nobody read the other part. Marches, circles, night and day. Still nobody knows what to say. What are we mad about? We don't know. Who are we yelling at? Let's go! Change the change. Okay, you want the future, then defend the foundation. What does the left say? Everything all day. Levitate something you can trade for a show. Why? In a republic, watch it grow. Let them know, no way. Protest all day. Stand tall, stand grow. Fights don't fade when the people carry on. When they change our side. Your freedom will let it show. Raise your voice and go right. Let them know. Protest, protest, hey. Let them know, let them know. Go Right News in the building. Go Right News in the building.
Step into the light, no disguise, no apology. Shadows you don't recognize. Every move getting a little bit clearer. You've been hiding in a cheap disguise. Top down, running through the noise. Fast lane burning just to feel the void. Every red light Sometimes truth's been waiting at the finish line. You can run, but it won't last. Soon you're gonna face yourself. Who do you think you are tonight? Who do you think you are? Say it loud, step into the light. Don't hide behind the dark. Who do you think you are tonight? Don't let them decide. We're all born naked, and the rest is drag. Engine screaming, but you're going nowhere. All that flash, but you're still unseen. Every wanted hanging in the air, still pretending you don't know what it means. Dress it up just to play your role, but you can't outrun your own soul. Every mask starts breaking down when the truth comes crashing loud. Feel the weight, feel the crack. Ain't no way to take it back. Who do you think you are tonight? Who do you think you are? Break it down, don't run it high. You've come this far. Who do you think you are tonight? Look inside, don't lag. We're all born naked, and the rest is drag. Say it loud, step it back. Truth don't care about what you like. It was never what you want outside. It's who you are. You can't deny. No filter, no frame, no label, no name. Who do you think you are tonight? Who do you think you are? Stand tall, step into the light. Show them who you are. Who do you think you are tonight? No more holding back. We're all born naked, and the rest is drag. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? No costume, just true. Something shifting in the air tonight. Feels like we're running out of time. Voices echo from another life, telling us it'll be alright. But it don't feel the same. Headlines screaming from a glowing screen. Truth gets buried in between. Every answer's dressed in certainty, but nothing's ever what it seems. We keep scrolling past the signs while the lines get redefined. What we thought would never change slips away right out of frame. You can feel it getting closer now, like a storm you can't outrun. Everyone's just looking back, like the damage has been done. While you're looking back, the future's moving fast. You can't hold the line if you're living in the past. Every step we take, every choice we make is a piece of something we might never get back. While you're as sympathy, wrapped in words of what we need. Little changes turn to history before you even see the bleed. We were told it's temporary, just a phase we'd outgrow. But the line we used to stand on are the ones we barely know. You can hear it in the silence now, something breaking underneath every promise that we trusted, hanging by a thread of belief. While you're looking back, the future's moving fast. You can't hold the line if you're living in the past. Every step we take, every choice we make is a piece of something we might never get back. While you're looking back, while you're looking back, it don't disappear overnight, it fades away without a fight. Bit by bit it slips through hands while we're trying to understand. Was it fear? Was it trust? Was it something built in us that made us wait too
Politics has a strange rhythm to it. One night the speeches are loud, the signs are everywhere, the yard stakes multiply like weeds after rain. Campaign ads flood every screen and every mailbox. Candidates promise the future. Commentators promise disaster. And everyone insists the stakes have never been higher. And then the votes come in. And sometimes the difference between power and defeat is not thousands of votes, not even dozens. Sometimes it is two. 2 ballots, 2 neighbors, 2 citizens who decided to show up. That tiny margin can shake an entire political machine. It can expose fault lines inside a party and can remind everyone watching that in a constitutional republic, the distance between influence and irrelevance can be measured in the space between 2 pencil marks on a ballot. Across North Carolina, and especially here in Alamance County, the latest primary results offered exactly that kind of reminder. Not just about who won or who lost, but about something deeper. About whether the Republican Party is adapting to a changing political landscape are simply replaying the same strategies while the ground beneath it quietly shifts. So today we ask the question, can Republicans hold the line in a changing political landscape? Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right.
This is Go Right with Peter Boykin, your Constitutionalist for Liberty. And tonight, we ask the question, can Republicans hold the line in a changing political march? The sound, the people turn the tide around. Hold the line, time will tell. When the ballots fall and the numbers swell. In a republic built to last, the people always have the last word. The people always have the last word.
Welcome back to Go Right with Peter Boykin. I'm your Constitutionalist for Liberty. So did North Carolina's primary just reveal a GOP divide that could cost Republicans in November? You know, politics has a funny way of humbling the people who think they've mastered it. For decades, consultants and party insiders have treated elections like a math equation. Raise enough money, collect enough endorsements, flood enough mailboxes, and victory is supposed to follow. Reality has a habit of ignoring those formulas. What we saw in North Carolina's primary tells a much more interesting story. Voters are showing growing frustration with the idea that politics should be controlled by a small circle of established, well-careered politicians who simply rotate through offices while the public is expected to keep voting for the same familiar names. In race after race, grassroots candidates proved that energy, authenticity, and direct voter connection can compete with the traditional political machine. That doesn't mean every establishment candidate is lost. Politics is never that clean. But the pattern that emerged is hard to ignore. The appetite for outsider voices is real. At least in North Carolina, this primary suggests that many voters are no longer automatically defaulting to the most recognizable name or the longest resume. They're looking for candidates who feel closer to the ground level of their communities rather than the upper floors of the political class. And then there's Roy Cooper, who somehow continues to remain politically resilient despite the broader frustration many voters express towards long-term political figures. Whether people support him or oppose him, his ability to maintain influence in North Carolina politics stands out as one of the more curious exceptions in a broader anti-establishment mood. But the larger takeaway from this primary is clear. Grassroots politics is not just a slogan anymore. It is a beginning to move numbers on election night. When voters feel disconnected from political leadership, they start searching for candidates who look less like professional politicians and more like the people who actually live in their communities. That shift does not guarantee victories for outsiders every time. Money, organization, and party infrastructure still matter. Yet when grassroots energy starts breaking through those barriers, it signals something deeper happening inside the political system. North Carolina's primary may be one more sign, that the old political playbook is starting to wear thin. Now step back and look at the bigger picture of March 3rd. Across North Carolina within Alamance County, the results suggest a return of familiar leadership figures. Sheriffs, long-term and long-time office holders, and candidates tied to traditional party structures perform strongly. For some voters, that represents stability. For others, it raises a deeper question. Is the Republican Party evolving with the political movement, or simply resetting the same board pieces election after election? The Berger versus Page race shows how fragile that balance can be. A 2-vote margin between one of the most powerful figures in Raleigh and a challenger from law enforcement proves that voters are divided about what direction they want. And the challenge does not stop there. Even in counties where Republicans remain strong, the broader political environment is changing. Suburban growth, migration from neighboring metropolitan areas, and shifting demographics mean holding office is no longer a guarantee. Every cycle becomes a fight to keep ground that once seemed secure. Now here's the Constitutionalist for Liberty lesson that matters beyond this election cycle. A constitutional republic is not held together by party branding. It is held together by informed citizens who understand the job description of government. The Constitution is not a vibe. It is a contract. It limits power. It defines jurisdiction. And it tells public officials what they can do and what they are forbidden to do. And that is why these primaries matter more than the talking heads admit. They're not just picking a name. You're not just picking a name, people. You are selecting who gets to touch the levers of power. And that brings us to endorsements. Now, President Donald Trump's endorsements matter because Trump is not just a president. He is a dominant figure in modern Republican politics and a symbol of a populist revolt against the old consultant class. When Donald Trump endorses someone, it often signals alignment with that movement, and it can shift attention, volunteers, and small dollar donations in a hurry. But an endorsement, even a Trump endorsement, is not a substitute for constitutional judgment. Endorsements are inputs, not commandments. Voters should treat endorsements the way a good mechanic treats a sales pitch. Listen, then pop the hood and inspect the engine. Ask whether the candidate believes in the limits of government, the separation of powers, due process, equal protection, and the idea that rights do not come from Washington, but from God and nature. Because the truth is, endorsements can be about loyalty, strategy, and a coalition building as much as they are about principles. Sometimes they are brilliant. Sometimes they are transactional. Sometimes they're based on information the public never sees. And that doesn't make them evil. It makes them political. The Constitutionalist for Liberty standard has to be higher than politics. And so does the strategy. Grassroots beats money more often than people think. But only when grassroots becomes organized. $1 billion in ads cannot replace a neighbor talking to a neighbor if the message is clear and the ground game is real. And that is why tight races keep happening. Not because the system is broken, because people still matter. Money can amplify. It cannot manufacture trust. Consultants can polish, but they cannot fake conviction forever. A big donor can fund mailers, but they cannot shake every hand. And that is the real lesson of a 2-vote race. Power is not permanent. It is rented. And the lease is due every election. Now the hard part. Unity. Party leaders always demand unity after the primaries, as if unity is a switch you can flip. But unity after brutal campaigns is not automatic. It is earned. It starts with humility from the winners and respect for the voters who choose someone else. It requires acknowledging legitimate concerns, not mocking them. It means pulling the best ideas from the losing side instead of pretending they never existed. If Republicans want to win in November in changing areas, especially in bedroom communities surrounded by blue regions, they cannot act like the general election is a victory lap. It's not. It is persuasion. It is turnout. It is trust. It is showing up. It is making the case that constitutional limits and local accountability still matter in daily life. And the future lesson is this: stop treating politics like a sports rivalry where the only goal is to dunk on the other team. Start treating politics like it actually is, the hiring process for the people who will still decide whether your rights are defended, ignored, or negotiated away. A party can win a primary with endorsements and money, but to keep a constitutional republic healthy, it takes something deeper. It takes citizens who demand principles, not personalities. It takes candidates who remember they are public servants, not rulers. It takes a movement that can fight hard, then govern with restraint. Which leads to the question that hangs over this entire primary. Are Republicans prepared not just to win primaries, but to win November in places that are changing fast? Because the real test is still ahead. November. Folks, thanks for tuning in. This has been Go Right with Peter Boykin. I'm your Constitutionalist for Liberty. You can check out us on GoRightNews.com, PeterBoykin.com. We're on Rumble at Go Right News, on YouTube at Go Right with Peter Boykin, on lots of different social medias, and on our podcast. Please share and like and follow. God bless. And remember to go right.
Another season rolling in, yard signs rising in the wind, talking heads on every screen, telling me what everything means. Promises like autumn leaves, campaign trails and TV pleas, every corner, every friend, counting down to votes again. Here come the ads again, flooding every town and bend, red and blue across the land. Everybody's got a plan. voices of the people blend when the dust begins to mend. Wake me up when November ends. Yeah. Wake me up when the storm is through, when the red and the blue remember we're Americans. Wake me up when November ends. Another season drifting by, leaves fall under autumn skies. Campaign lights begin to dim. Wake me up when November